Okay, so I know we went a little bit deep right there, but thank you guys for letting me geek out. This is stuff I think about all night long, so I just wanted to share that stuff with you because it is important, especially as we start doing all the other stuff. So we're going to come out and have a little more fun now for the next couple of presentations, but hopefully that'll set a really good foundation to understand how we're structuring the content, where we're finding people, meeting them where they're at, and having messages that speak directly to them and bring people back in the funnel. So that's why we kind of went through all that groundwork. So what we're gonna do right now is, we've got about an hour till lunch, so I wanna go through some cool things. So the biggest goal is after somebody goes through your funnel, right, and they're added to your list, to your world, you've got like a really cool chance to build a relationship with that person, okay? And if you build that relationship right, people will continue to buy from you over and over and over and over again. I'm sure you've heard a million times, it's way easier to keep an existing customer happy than it is to keep getting new customers all day long, right? And I've had some businesses where all our goal is to get new customers all day long, and those businesses wear you out really, really fast, right? And so we want to transition to businesses where we can get people to come and keep on giving us money. I read twice this week the article, it's called 1,000 True Fans. Have any of you guys read that article? Like it's worth reading. It's a little techie. Like, the guy's like not like a storyteller, but it's a really cool concept. And what he basically said, he said that what a true fan is someone who's willing to spend one day of their income towards you every single year, right? So if someone makes $100 a day, that every year they're willing to invest $100 to you, right? He's kind of talking more about artists and things like that. And he says that a true fan is someone who, like, anything you come out with, they buy. And if you're doing an event, they're going to come and they're going to pay for backstage passes. And they're obsessed, right? They want to be around everything, right? Those are true fans. It says that the point where you get 1,000 true fans in your business is the point where you're free. You know, if you have 1,000 true fans each paying you $100 a month or whatever, that's $100,000 a month, whatever that is, right? But 1,000 true fans sets you free. And if you have 1,000 true fans, it means you probably got 10,000 like warm fans, and then you got the cold masses, right? And so I look at this whole business as that's the goal, right? Here in the middle, we've got our true fans. I want as many people in here as possible. Out here's our warm people. You can see my handwriting, right? It says warm. And out here's our cold, right? So the whole funnel catcher is bringing people from cold, bring them through here, and then eventually having them here in our true fans. How many guys in your business right now know that you've got like true fans who are obsessed with what you're doing and selling? Okay, that's like where we all want to be at, right? And if you're there, we want more. And if you're not there yet, we want some. Okay, so that's kind of the goal. And so I want to go through just some things I was thinking about last night. Like how do we create true fans? Different than just customers. Because customers are nice, but like if you want fans, people who will go to bat for you, people who will stick them in forums and yell at other people for you, right? People that'll keep buying your stuff. Like how do you cultivate true fans? And a couple years ago, I read a whole bunch of these books and stuff like on how to start a cult, which they're really good books. My wife was like, what's the point of you reading these books? I'm like, no, this is really good. But talk about like in fact, one of my friends created a product called Ethical Cult Building. And it was all about like, it's kind of this thing, like how do you get people to come in and to become true fans and become part of your vision and your dream and what you're doing and so it's kind of interesting. So these are just some of the things that as I was kind of going through it, thinking through it, that I think are the keys, right? Is to get these true fans in. So step number one is your attractive character. If you've been in Russell Brunson world for more than like 50 minutes, you've probably heard me talk a lot about attractive character. So I'm not going to go and spend 3 hours going through that. But I'm curious, how many of you guys feel like you have identified and defined your attractive character? How many of you guys feel like you've done that so far? Okay. Now on the other side, how many of you guys think that your audience is aware of most of these things inside your attractive character? Okay, a couple, very small. So I've been talking, it's funny, there's been a couple, you heard me rant a couple times this weekend about stuff that I've been preaching from up here for 2 years over and over. One of them, the two biggest ones are probably attractive character and Dream 100. Like how many of you guys have heard me talk about Dream 100 at least 100 times? How many of you guys have done the Dream 100 yet? All right, a couple, good. So attractive character is important. So again, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this aspect because there's trainings in the Ignite members area you guys can go through where I go for hours talking about this and totally geeking out on it. But it's key. Like when I first learned about this, I learned it from John Olanis, who's in the how to pick up chicks market, right? How to get girls to come to you. And he talked all about he was at a business event. He said, look, I'm going to talk to you entrepreneurs the same way I talk to my men who are trying to get girls to come to him, right? He said, because the laws of attraction are the same. If you want women to come to you, you've got to be an attractive person. Not like attractive, like I'm a good-looking person. Like attractive, there's qualities and traits in people that attract other people, right? And he said the same thing is true in business. Like you've got to put things out there that draw people in and get them excited and make them want to be part of your world, right? And so this is kind of a little thing I wrote out to kind of sketch out, like what are the important things in an attractive character, right? Every good attractive character's got a good backstory. Okay, how many of your fans know your backstory? Okay, if not, it's time to start sharing that stuff. Podcasting, video, like I share. How many of you guys have heard way too many stories from me? Yeah, like I share my stories over. So backstories, parables to help teach important concepts. Like what parables do you have that you can share with people? What character flaws do you let people see about yourself? How are you polar? Like these things like that. If you haven't started doing this yet, I really want to use this as kind of wake-up call to think about it, because this has everything to do with how much money you're going to make. Okay, it has nothing to do with getting cold traffic in, but it has everything to do with taking these cold traffic people and getting them to want to buy into you and your vision and what you're doing, and to give you money over and over and over again. Okay, so it's important. So that's step number one, is really identifying and focusing on your attractive character. A couple fun things we're doing just off of this, right? One of the storylines here is us versus them. Okay, who has sent an email or done a podcast or something about us versus them with your audience? A couple. So I was thinking, like, for ClickFunnels, like ClickFunnels is the software, right? Software's like, it's the code, it's lines. So how do we make software sexy, right? And when we built ClickFunnels, I intentionally did not want Russell to be the attractive character of ClickFunnels. That's why I'm not really on ClickFunnels. .com Secrets is Russell's face, and we are like a hyper promoter of it. But eventually, Russell Brunson will disappear into the night, and ClickFunnels will stand on its own, right? So ClickFunnels had to have its own personality in and of itself, right? And so, like, how do we create these things in a faceless software? How many of you guys feel like you bond with ClickFunnels as a company? Is that weird? So, a couple fun things we're doing right now. Some of you guys have seen this. Like, this is a T-shirt campaign that we're about to launch, and we send this out to our Dream. I think we're Dream 400 now. So, we sent this out to 400 people 2 weeks ago, and it's us versus them. How many of you guys have heard the webinar where people always ask, like, what's the difference between you guys and Lead Pages? Have you guys ever heard I answer that? I always say, well, Lead Pages is awesome. It's kind of like a calculator. Like, it does math, you can do addition, subtraction. It's awesome at doing math. And ClickFunnels is kind of like an iPhone. Like, we've got a calculator app, but we do a whole bunch of other stuff as well, right? That's kind of us messing with them. And so I'm thinking, like, how do we do like us versus them without like actually saying Lead Pages, but kind of poking at them? So we did us versus them. It's like comparing a calculator to a smartphone, and it's a shirt, and it's awesome. And the best, it doesn't actually say Lead Pages. LEADPAGE. Anyway. So, all right. So what we're doing a really fun campaign where we got a guy who's doing print on demand. He's doing print on demand shirts, right? And we're building this widget that'll work in ClickFunnels. So when it's done, you guys can do this kind of stuff as well. So you pay someone $100 to design a T-shirt, and then you can put the widget into ClickFunnels. Someone comes, and basically we're just doing free plus shipping on the shirts. They order it. They can pick a color, a size. They can do hoodies. They can do like a whole bunch of stuff. They pick what they want, click submit, and then they cover the shipping, handling, and we mail them out their T-shirt, and there's a guy that prints them and ships them, and it's really cool. So we'll have that for you guys to be able to play with soon. But anyway, so we're going to be doing a campaign like that and just trying to get everybody, all of our true fans wearing. How many of you guys right now are wearing a ClickFunnels or a .com Secrets T-shirt? Right now. You're not wearing right now. Who's going on right now? Couple. We got 2 or 3. All right. So we got a couple of true fans. I want the next traffic and conversion seminar, when I show up, that every entrepreneur in the room has one of my shirts on it. Like, that's my goal. I want my true fans there, and there's 3,000 people, and everyone's got Funnel Hacker T-shirts, us versus them. I want to blanket everything. I was telling our mastermind group yesterday, we in one of my older groups 4 or 5 years ago, we had this guy. His name was Big Mike, big burly man, and he owns the biggest hydroponics company in the world, right? And does like $80 or $90 million a year back then. I don't know what they're now. And anyway, every year they do these big national conventions, right? And he wanted to go buy a booth at the convention. So he goes and tries to buy a booth, and they're like, no, we hate you because you're the biggest guy, and he's totally like this, anyway, he personifies the stuff we're talking about, like big attractive character, like loud and annoying and awesome, and his competitors all hate him. And so they wouldn't sell him a booth, they wouldn't even sell him tickets to the event, so he was pissed. And so we did the strategy session in our mastermind group, and I thought it was like a joke as we went through like his turn, and then he actually did everything that we kind of made up. So this is what he did. First thing he did is he made this t-shirt and had a big muscular bull on it, and the bull is drinking his product like this. You see the name of the product on the jug, and then the bull's peeing out into a bucket, and it's got his competitor's product name on the bucket. And so the night before the event, he rented out across the street this huge old thing, brought in girls and all these people, and he threw this party for the whole convention. Had 5,000 people. They were come to the convention next day, come to this party. He gave everyone a free t-shirt, so every single person had one. He said, for the next 4 days, we got spies going around the convention, each have like 40 or 50 grand in $100 bills, and if you're wearing a shirt, they see you, they'll give you out $100 bills. So for the next 3 days of the event, every single person was wearing that, and the entire, blanketed the whole thing. And then, you think that was enough, right? So the next thing he did, just to piss him off even more, is he rented a helicopter with a big old banner at it with that picture on it, and for 3 days he flew around in a circle above the convention center. It was like the coolest thing in the world. Anyway, he made his point, and he won. All right, this is another shirt we're coming out with. It's kind of funny. So we'll have that shirt for you guys too if you guys are interested. All right, so doing cool stuff like that, doing stuff that people bond to, right? Like I want all you guys wearing We Are Not Confusionsoft t-shirts. Wouldn't that be awesome? Anyway, except for the Confusionsoft certified people in the room who are like angry at me right now. But it's okay if you're upset. I'll get over it. All right, step number 2. Not only do you gotta be like an attractive character, you have to be a master at your craft. I cannot stress this enough. Okay, you have to become amazing at what you do and what you know. Okay, you've got to be amazing. If you're not amazing, nobody is going to become a true fan. Okay, so a couple of things with this. First off, and I talk about this a lot, you've got to get results. You got to go out there, find people, serve them, work for free for them, and get results. That's what proves you know what you're talking about. Okay, that's a big key. Next thing is, if you're going to master your craft, I think the first time I really got this, how many of you guys know Howard Berg, the world's fastest reader? You've seen some stuff we did with him. So I met Howard the first time. When I was 12 years old, I saw his infomercials online, and he's reading books like this, and he read a whole book in 3 minutes. It was crazy. And one day I'm at an event, and I get done speaking, and I walk off, and some guy's like, "Oh, the world's fastest reader wants to meet you." I'm like, "Howard Berg? You know who he is?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I go meet this guy. He's a little short guy, and we start talking, and just hit it off. Super cool. He's been in our office 10 times. He trained trained me how to speed read, our whole staff, and anyway, the guy's just awesome. And I remember I was talking about some concepts. And because he's read over 30,000 books. He knows everything on earth about everything because he can read a book in 5 minutes. So it's just oh, I want to learn that. And the most interesting thing I learned from him that really meant a lot to me, he said most people, they read a book and then they take that as the perception of the world revolves around that author's opinion of the thing. He says that's the wrong way to learn. He says what you got to do is you got to take 7 books on a topic, because everyone's got different things, and you look at all 7 of these, and all of a sudden you're instead of just seeing the sliver of the universe, you see the real picture of it. Okay? And when he said that, I was just man, how many things in my life am I looking at just one little piece of it? And I'm basing my reality, and the reality I'm sharing with my students and other people I'm trying to serve on this one little sliver of information. I'm I'm not serving myself or other people. So I started, I took that to heart, and so when I started learning topics, I remember when I went to Tony Robbins' event the first time, and I heard about NLP, and I was like, man, this is a cool thing. How does this work? I want to say how I can use it and everything. And so what I did is I took Howard's advice. I went on to Amazon and I went and bought every NLP book I could find, 10 or 15 of them, right? Tons of them came to me. And then I was online trying to find some audio courses, some books, a bunch of stuff. I got all of it to come to me. And I said, I'm gonna do 7 days of immersion, just for a week, where this is what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to try to just cram and just figure everything out. And so I went through, and I obviously am not as fast as Howard Berg, but in a week of time of focus, concentration, you can learn a lot of stuff. And I went through, I was reading his books, I'm skipping parts, I'm reading as fast as I could, I'm listening to audios, I'm immersing myself in this concept. What's interesting, when you do that, when you immerse yourself in a concept for a finite period of time, all these weird connections start connecting that wouldn't normally. You know what I mean? that you just start getting because you're like, wow, you see this and this, and also like this full picture opens up of like what reality actually is. Okay? And I think a lot of times people who are coaches are like, I've got one of my really close friends, he's a personal trainer, and he's not here, so he probably won't watch the videos, and if he is, I apologize, but he needs to hear this too. So he's very like a traditional trainer, and he's gone through like one school of thought, and he's good at what he does. But the problem is like he only respects and understands this one school of thought. And so like when I came to him and started working with him, like he was able to do certain things, but everybody's different, right? Every situation is different. And so like I was stuck in this thing. Like honestly, it wasn't until I met, where's Anthony at? Is he still in the room? Like Anthony is like the opposite side of that, right? Like he's a trainer who like understands like 1,000 things. Someone who has mastered his craft, who's gone through so much immersion, who understands, well, this is this type of thing and this type, all these type of things. And then coming to me saying, well, based on your situation, this is what we should try to do. And suddenly I started getting results from that, right? And so if you want to serve your students the best spot, the biggest thing I can say is like, you've got to become a master of your craft. You got to stop focusing on just like what you know and find out like the entire picture and like just immerse yourself for a week or two, whatever it takes just to become amazing, because that's when people are going to get it, right? Like you guys can probably tell how much I geek out on this marketing stuff. Like that's all I'm so obsessed, like, because it's so much fun and all these things I can pull out of it and use. Like if I was up here and I only knew one thing, you guys probably wouldn't be that excited. You probably wouldn't be here. But I don't know, when you're passionate and you're excited, other people get excited as well. So I'd say one of the biggest things about getting true fans is you just mastering your craft, focusing the time and the energy just to become amazing at it. I was talking to Troy last week about it, and Troy, I'm not sure if he's in the room or not, but he launched a new business recently, and I asked him when. He said, like it's been good, but it's been hard. And I asked him one of the things. He said one of the hardest things is I started getting clients, and like I didn't know how to serve some of these people, and I had to learn. He's like, I had to go through this huge learning process where I'm learning like insane amounts of stuff for a finite period of time to be able to figure out how to actually serve these people. It's like now that I've got these new tools, like there's so much I can do, but I had to go through that immersion process to master my craft before I could ever serve correctly. I think that's a big key. And so I want to stress that. I know that some of you guys are thinking I'm crazy, but like it's important. All right, step number 3. I call this the prolific index, okay? Some of you guys may have seen me talk about this before. This is the prolific index, okay? In the middle here, we've got mainstream thoughts and ideas, okay? And there's zero money in the mainstream, okay? When I went to college, they teach you the mainstream, okay? Which is why they don't pay teachers very much, right? The mainstream, there's no money in. Okay, I think about the health market, right? The 4 food groups, like there's no money in like, hey guys, guess what? I got this new food plan. It's called the 4 food groups. You got breads, wheat, whatever, right? There's no money in the mainstream. So if what you're selling is the mainstream, like no one's gonna give you money. Okay, now the other side, there's the crazy, okay? And the crazy people are also not gonna give you any money. Okay, but somewhere between the mainstream and the crazy is the prolific. That's the sweet spot. When you can find in your market the prolific, that's where people will start paying you money. That's where they're following you. Okay, so you got to find out for you where that is. Okay, for example, we got 4 food groups here in the mainstream. We've got maybe like liposuction over here, like we'll just shave the fat off your body over on the crazy side, right? In the middle, you got let's drink butter in our coffee, right? It's kind of in the middle. You're like, well, like that's crazy, but like I can see it, and if it works, holy cow, I can drink butter every morning, like, and boom. Okay, we hung out with Dave last month. He's making crazy money with this, right? So for you got to figure out where that is. Okay, if nobody's buying your stuff, I'm guessing you're probably in the mainstream or you're in the loony bin, all right? So we got to either come back a little bit this way or we got to go that way. But somewhere between there, that's the sweet spot, okay? You think about like the podcasts you listen to. Like which ones do you listen to? Just the mainstream boring ones? You might listen to the crazy ones, right? I don't know. But this is where like our attention's at. This is what gets news coverage. This is what gets bloggers write about you. This is what gets people to click. Like that's the sweet spot of where all the magic happens. Okay? So shifting yourself from the mainstream and find the prolific zone. Like that's a key. That's what gets people coming back to you over and over and over again. Okay? All right, next thing is you got to find your voice. Okay? How many of you guys are comfortable right now talking to your audience? Like like this is my voice. This is how I speak. Okay? So how do you find your voice? I'm going to show you guys a couple examples. Hopefully the audio works on this. How many of you guys know who Garrett J. White is? Okay, so Garrett spoke at our funnel hacking event. Those who were there, was he good? Was he amazing? Like so captivating. He comes in with his boots on, everything, and you're just like, oh my gosh, and he just ripped people apart, and people were crying, and people were offended, and people loved him, and it was all over the place, right? But he has his voice, okay? And his voice, it was awesome. So I'm gonna show you guys just like a 5-second clip from him. How about, I'm gonna show you guys mine first, and I'll find Garrett's next, okay? So how many of you guys wanna see what my voice sounded like in 2007? That is me, okay? Now, that's me and that's Brent. So watch how scared I am of the camera. Notice how I don't make eye contact. Listen to my energy levels. Like just, and this is 2007. This wasn't that long ago, okay? So listen to this. Hi, I'm Russell Brunson.
And I'm Brent Copeters.
And we're here today to tell you about an awesome new product we're launching called the 12-Month Internet Millionaire. Now, probably a lot of you guys have remembered the book that Vince James came out with about 2 years ago called The 12-Month Millionaire. Big old fat book teaching how he made over $100 million in 23 months through direct marketing, direct mail, internet, radio, TV, all the different things he did to make money. I like Marty, look at the camera, look at the ground, look at Brent.
Like
his
story, I actually
Brent, can you talk with him? I'm scared.
Interview with him, and it was supposed to be a 3-hour interview, turned into 6 hours, going over everything.
Like, is that boring? That was my voice in 2007. Hey, this is Russell, and I'm just blah, 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 right? So how do I go from that to like Russell's like, wah, going crazy on Periscopes, right? Guess how I found my voice? Doing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos. Okay, I'm gonna talk about Periscope in a little bit, but I had someone like, well, you know, like no one's showing up to my Periscope, so like I don't want to do them anymore. It's not about people showing up to your Periscopes. It's about you learning your voice and how to speak to people and what is going to get people excited and get energized and excited, right? Like, you have to learn that, because if that was me today, none of you guys would be here. That Russell's boring. Like, I want to punch him in the face. Like, anyway, okay, I'm going to find Garrett's videos for you guys. By the way, this funnel just passed $2.2 million for them since January this year.
One of the greatest struggles as a businessman in today's life is the ability to manage your business and the rest of your life. See, it's one thing to get paid, it's another thing to get laid, but see, what happens in life when you start to try to put it all together? See, for a long time in my business, I thought that the only game that I could ever figure out was a game of how to make money. And so for 9 years as a banker, I built an empire.
I was trying to edit before that, sorry.
Millions upon millions of dollars. You know what we'd do on the weekends? We'd come here. We'd come here. You know why we would come here? Because we'd come here for release. We were trying to find a way.
Okay, so there's Garrett's voice. Pretty captivating, right? You guys heard him speak like it's like you're sucked in, right? Okay, now I want to show Garrett in 2007. This makes me look like a rock star.
Jared J. White, the authentic entrepreneur, coming at you real, raw, relevant. And this, my friends, is the business breakthrough. And today we're going to talk about speaking. So what I want you to do is I want you to come from deep within inside of you. And I want you to bring the message up to the surface. And then I want you to give it to the people. I just want you to give it to them. But first you start deep inside, even sometimes deepest down here. Bring the camera down so they can see it. You bring it from deep within here, and then you go, wow. Well, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I got your attention. So let's talk about some really fun things when speaking today. Here's the fun part about speaking, right? So we're going to talk about hand position. I want you to identify, this is what I call Fox NFL Sunday hand position. Let's talk about ESPN Sunday football ticket. So a few years back, about 20 years ago.
All right. How many of you guys want to go to Warrior Week after watching that video? All right, sorry. So I want to show you that because like I was talking to Gary about this, and I was like, hey man, I saw your old videos. He's like, oh man. He's like, I used to put those out and nobody ever watched them. He's like, I did like 130 or 140 episodes. I was like, why did you stop? He's like, I was trying to learn my voice. He's like, I know what people respond to. I was trying this, I was trying that, I was trying the crazy, like, and eventually you find out like the sweet spot where people are like, wow, I respond to that. Like that resonates with me, right? And when you find that out, then you can create things towards that, right? It's interesting as we filmed Tony Robbins, Dave Asprey, Neil Strauss. I film myself a lot. Like, we look at with Neil, the way his voice is different, and the way we capture things were different than Dave's or mine, And so you got to figure out what your voice is. And the only way to do that is to practice it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And that's something that's usually not very fun at first, right? It doesn't make you much money at first. But if you want to master anything, you gotta really become good at it. But you think about how many in here know me in my personal life, outside of Russell Brunson, internet marketer? You can ask my staff. I'm not me in real life. I go to church on Sunday and I hide in the back from everyone. I'm scared to death. It's interesting. Russell versus my voice to my audience is way different. My wife comes to these things and she's like, "You are so weird on stage. You talk a lot and you're all animated." And she's like, "It's not you." And I'm like, "I know. It's not that it's not genuine. It's me, but it's me in a way that that people respond to, right?" And so I think that you can do both, but it's for me, it's outside of my comfort zone. If I was to go to church and talk like this, I'd not feel comfortable, right? My home, it's different. So I think just find out your voice and find out what people do respond to, but in a way that is authentic to you, that's fun, that you still enjoy. Because if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to do it, right? And again, it doesn't have to be video either. I like video. Garrett likes video. Some of you guys, how do you guys run podcasts in here? Okay, some podcast is your voice. That's the thing. Some of you guys are how many of you guys are writers in the room? Some of you guys write. It was actually interesting. Neil Strauss was horrible on camera. I think one of the best writers I've ever read, but one of the worst guys on camera, right? And so you got to find out not only your voice, but where your message should come from. What's the platform that you're comfortable with, right? What do you like doing? How do you like speaking? But it's something you got to learn. You got to learn how to write. You got to learn how to speak. Whatever your craft is, whatever that thing is, you gotta really master that. And it comes from tons and tons and tons of practice. All right, step number 5 is polarity. Nobody follows the neutral person. There's no value. There's no excitement. There's nothing in there. This is another one of my amazing graphs to illustrate my points. So this is the neutral graph, right? Where you're just neutral, everything's happy and you don't offend anybody. And you're okay, everything's perfect, right? And when you're neutral, nobody seems to care. Okay? How many of you guys are watching the presidential elections right now? Okay? This is the first time I have ever in the history of my life seen a presidential debate, ever. Okay? Literally, I don't follow at all. Last election, I asked Brent, who was not an American citizen at the time, hey man, I'm not gonna vote, so who do you want me to vote for? He's into it, right? So I just let him vote for me, because I don't even know. This time, I'm engaged because there's this dude on there who is so freaking polar that if I miss the debates, the next morning it's all over Facebook. I'm watching this dude kick Ron Paul or Rand Paul, whatever, off stage because he doesn't have any, I'm watching this stuff like a train wreck, and I'm probably gonna vote this year on my own. I don't even know who for, but I care, because I'm into this thing now, right? How many of you guys feel a little bit like that? Whether you love him or hate him, I'm talking about obviously Donald Trump. I don't care if you love him or you hate him, what happens is there's polarity, right? And you may be on the side that hates him, which is cool. I don't really care. Only thing I care about is those little lines right there where the money is made, right? Okay, he's getting tons of the voters. Even people he's deeply offending are following him now, right? Because of that. And I don't know if it's going to last. He may crash and burn. He may be going off the prolific zone to the crazy land. I don't know. I'm not into that kind of stuff. I don't know yet. We'll see. But there's value in that if you understand that, right? By being the neutral person who's just in the middle, nobody will listen, they won't respond, they're not going to care. By being polar, that's how you get attention and interest and people who actually care. And by doing that, you're going to get a group of people who love you and a group of people who hate you. Okay, and it's hard, it's painful. Okay, I remember the very first time my wife Googled my name, and she's like, "All these people are calling you a scam artist. Is that true?" And I'm like, "No, but there's people that don't like me. It just happens." Okay, and you've got to be it's hard, but you got to become okay with that, because the way to create true fans, there has to be polarity, and a percentage of people are going to hate you. But because that happens, there's a percentage that hate you, and then there's a percentage that loves you. Okay, and the percentage that loves you, those are your true fans. Those are the people who wear your t-shirts, who show up to your events, who buy your stuff, who go on every teleseminar, every Periscope, everything you do, because they love you. Okay? You don't get that by being neutral. like if you look at Pepsi versus Coke, Mac versus PC, like if you look at history, the way it works, this is me geeking out on branding, so if you guys zone out, but I think it's fun. So when PC was the number, like when they were the best, right? Apple came in with their campaign Mac versus PC, right? Because they were number 2. If you notice that since Apple has passed Mac, have you seen a single Mac commercial talking about PC? You can't, because number 2 cannot acknowledge, or excuse me, number 1 cannot acknowledge number 2, or it hurts their positioning, their branding. Okay, Coke versus Pepsi. Pepsi's always yelling, Coke never talks about it, right? So when we came out, lead pages ahead of us, they still are. We'll pass them this year. So right now we're making fun of them, right? But we'll pass them soon, we'll quit talking about them, right? Same thing with Infusionsoft, like that's our next target. So we're going after them and eventually we'll start talking. So 2 can talk about 1, but 1, you can't talk about them. So with your competitors, it depends. Like if someone's below you, like I'd never talk about 10-minute pages, Insta pages, all the other crap, right? Because if I talk about them, I validate that they're live and I don't want to do that, right? So I don't ever talk about them. Okay, so I only talk about people that we're trying to be. So for you, it depends on your positioning. Like if you're number 1 in your market, like don't talk about anybody else. You got to figure out who's the common enemy, right? With these guys, it's the gun grabbing, whatever people. Like that's their common enemy that the rest of their group hates. So it could be something like that. I know John Allness does it with doers versus refunders. Like that's his whole message. Like, hey, you a doer or a refunder? And people ask refunds, oh, I see you're not a doer. It's like no one, like everyone's scared, and then like he calls them out, and like no one dares to refund from him because they want to be doers, right? So they're all doers. And so it just kind of depends on like what is that in your market that the common enemy that people all kind of see. It might be a competitor, it might be a type of customer, it might be whatever, right? So it kind of depends. All right. Step number 6, and this is different than the content we're going to be talking about after lunch. So after lunch, we're talking about creating content to bring cold people into your world, okay? This is different. This is how do we communicate with our fans? How do we get these guys excited and fired up? So many of us spend so much, I'm guilty of this as well, we spend so much time trying to figure out how to get new customers in the door, we forget about our existing customers, right? And it's hard because like that's what's on your mind all the time. And so I've been trying to figure out how do I keep communication with my fans so they're always excited and interested and engaged all the time, right? And email is obviously a big one. I think everyone has to do email. If you're not doing email, that's got to be a key, right? For you or for any business, you got to be doing email. And the next one's you got to figure out what platform you're comfortable with. Again, if those of you guys who are bloggers, you should be blogging because people are going to read your blog and follow and be engaged, right? If you're not a blogger, don't do that because it's not congruent and it's hard. And you got to find a platform that's not hard for you. If it's hard, you're not going to do it. I know I tried to do a podcast for 8 years and I never did until I got my marketing in your car and it was easy for me, so now I do it. So blogging, podcasting, and Periscope. Periscope is my new favorite channel. How many of you guys have been on one of my Periscopes so far? It's awesome. What's that? You were the first Periscope I ever went on, by the way. I was driving my car, my phone went bleep, 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 and I was like, huh, and I clicked on it, and she was live. It was so exciting. I probably threw you off, huh? It was so exciting. I was on Noah's first one. I want to be on all your guys' Periscope. So I'm going to sell you on Periscope for a few minutes here for a couple reasons, okay? First off, I love email. When I first got started in this business, my first coach was Mark Joyner, and he pounded in my head the only thing that matters is building a list. And so I was like, all right, I was too dumb to know anything else, so I just focused on building a list. It served me for over a decade, right? Building a list, you can sell these guys products, right? And then all these other things have come and gone, like Facebook and Twitter and all these things, and all of them have been good, but it's with email, I send an email, and you each get it. At Facebook, I post a thing, and I got to write ads, and it's not a direct communication channel with my audience, right? Periscope, the way I found out about it, honestly, someone told me that, so I downloaded it, I didn't know what it was. And then a week later, I'm driving in my car to lunch, and all of a sudden, it chirped at me, and it was Stacy. I was like, I love Stacy, so I clicked on it, I'm watching her, and I'm driving, and I was like, this is the coolest thing, I didn't get it, and people were clicking hearts, so I started clicking, I'm like, oh, and I'm clicking little hearts on it, I was like, it was really engaging, I was like, this is awesome. And so then I forgot about it, then a week or two later, I was playing with it again, I'm scrolling around, and I accidentally clicked the broadcast button, and I didn't even know, again, I didn't know what this was or how it worked, and all of a sudden, it's so-and-so popped up, and the next person, and I had, within a minute, I had 20 people on there, and I was like, I don't know who these people are, I don't know how they heard of it, I was kind of freaking out, and then I was like, hey everyone, this is my first Periscope, I don't know what's happening, but this is so exciting, and then, anyway, because then I kind of ended it, I was like, okay, that was interesting, I clicked a button, instantly, I was there with people, right? The only other channel I've ever had that with ever has been email. Podcast is not that way. I do a podcast, and Some people see it, some people don't. It's kind of random. Blogging, I put a blog post, some people do, some people don't. But when I do a Periscope, all your phones go bleep, 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 and like Russell's live, and then like you're there instantly. Now with email, I think about like a good email. If I send out a good email, I might get 5,000 clicks. On a great email, I might get 10,000 clicks, right? Like that's kind of like my metrics. Like if I get 10,000 clicks, like it's gonna be awesome, right? With Periscope, I did a Periscope last night at 9:30. How many of you guys were on that one last night? So I clicked that button. Within less than a minute, we had 100 people live. Within like a minute in, we had 200 people live at 9:30 at night who were on like the phone version, and then we had another, I can look at my stats, another 250 that were watching the web-based version. I had 500 people instantly communicating with me. I was just like, I could have sold something, I could have talked about it, I could whatever. I was instant communication with my true fans, right? Instantly. And anyway, like it's just it's interesting. And so for me, I'm looking at, I've only been doing this for like a couple of weeks. And I'm going to put a lot of time and effort in this because right now I got 200 people live that fast. In 6 months from now, I have 2,000 people. In a year from now, I have 20,000 people. In 5 years from now, I have 200,000 people. Where I click a button and instantly 200,000 people are sitting there talking to me. Like for me, this is the first thing besides email I've ever like been that excited about. Yeah. So a couple of things I want to stress about this. First off, like I said, it's the first direct communication channel besides email. Like I love it. I think it's better than email because I can get, instead of 5,000 clicks, I could get 5,000 people that I'm talking to. Second thing is it's kind of hard to get people to follow you, and so because of that, like not many people are really doing it. Where email, like everyone's doing email now, so email inboxes are getting more and more. I follow probably 100 people on my Periscope, and I've maybe had 3 people that have ever broadcasted live. So it's like there's not much noise there. I don't think there's going to be a lot of noise because I don't think it's easy. I think it's going to be harder. I look at, in fact, I'm not sure if he's in the room. I'm just blanking down his name. I did Decade Day last week with him, that has a real estate podcast for 9 years. Okay, there you are. So 9 years ago, everyone's talking about podcasting, right? I heard about podcasting 9 years ago. I'm like, hey, I'm going to do a podcast. And then I didn't, and I didn't, and I didn't. So he was smarter than me. He listened, he's like, sweet, I'm going to do a podcast. We started doing a podcast. We do that 3 times a week? Okay, 3 times a week, do this podcast. And on our Decade Day call, I'm like, okay, so about your business. He's like, I got this podcast. I'm doing it for 9 years. All these people love me. All these downloads and everything. I'm like, okay, where do you send people to? And he's like, well, I don't really have any funnels. I'm like, okay, well, and he does events. How do you get people to events? I'm like, oh, I just tell them to come to the event and they show up. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, okay. And then he's got some home study course. I'm like, how do you sell it? He's like, well, there's a picture and the button and they just buy it. I'm like, okay, well, and I'm like trying to figure this out. I'm like, and so in my mind, I'm like, he's got to be like completely broke because there's no way people are buying from this, okay? That's kind of my mindset. And I'm like, well, what were your revenue last year? It was like over $2 million. I'm like, he doesn't have a sales funnel or anything, but he's got tons of true fans who are obsessed with him. And it's because he put in insane amounts of time and effort consistently for 9 years. I tell you what, I wish 9 years ago I would have started my podcast and done it consistently because I'd be making millions and millions of dollars from doing that. So right now, Periscope's this new thing, right? This is podcasting 9 years ago. And I think anybody, and I was sitting in a room like this 9 years ago because I'm talking about podcasting. I'm like, they're such nerds. No one's listening to a podcast. I don't even have a microphone. God, I was stupid, right? I think this is the next thing, and I think that every one of you guys should do Periscope. So that's number one. Number 2 is what is the best way for you to learn your voice? Doing it a lot, okay? Periscope is so easy for me to consistent because I click a button, I talk for 5 minutes, and I hang up, okay? And I just do it over and over. I think in the last 3 weeks, I've done like 30-something episodes, and I'm learning my voice, and I'm seeing what people are responding to, and you get instant feedback. Like, if they click the little thing, then you know something's good. If they don't, you don't. Also, you get feedback on who shows up. Every day I get to write a new headline, and I get to see like, okay, how many people actually showed up for this one? Like last night, that was the fastest I had people on, and the longest, the most people. And part of it's from it growing. Part of it's from like the headlines. I'm like, what headlines are people responding to faster? Which ones are slower? What's my audience actually care about? That they're going to at 9:30 at night like click on a button to listen to me talk about. Okay. I remember when I was talking to Jeff Walker when we won the Ferrari. We were hanging out the day before, and I was talking about his like. When he got in this business, he said the biggest thing for him is like I learned I have to publish. He's like initially when I started, I had a list of like 6 people, and most of them were related to me. And he's like, so I started publishing, started putting things out there. And my list started slowly growing, but I was putting things out there just to see like what people responded to. It's like 90% of stuff I sent out there, nobody cared. And things that I was really passionate about, but nobody cared, nobody cared, nobody cared, nobody cared. Product launch. Wow, everyone got really excited about that. In fact, I had a product before Jeff had product launch formula called Pre-Launch Secrets that did awesome. Okay, and then like a year later, Jeff Walker came out with Product Launch Secrets, and that became his thing. For like 10 years, he does like, I don't know, $10 million every year just selling the same product every single year. Okay, I got the same feedback when I did my pre-launch secrets and I didn't listen. I just walked off and I was stupid. Where he's just built this huge business off of the one thing that people responded to. And you don't know that until you put things out there. And so it gives you the opportunity to put a ton of things out there, learn your voice, see what people responding to. And initially it's going to be like a shotgun where you're just shooting stuff out in the sky, hoping things happen. But eventually you start hitting things, you're like, wow, people showed up, participated on that topic. My audience must care about that. Let me do a little more on that, a little more on that. And soon you're going to find out not only your voice, but what your message is. What it is that people care about for you. And so, and again, you guys can do this through email, through blog, through podcast, but I also recommend at least adding Periscope, if not also doing it. But I think those of us who put in the time today, in a year from now, 5 years from now, it's going to be insane. Imagine right now, like how many cable channels you think at 2 a.m. have 10,000 people watching them? We'll all be able in a year from now click a button and have 10,000 people on that fast. That's power. Yeah. So this question is like, what do you do with your Periscope content? So right now, so you do it and then Periscope saves it for a day and then it's gone. So I just have my brother, whenever I'm done, you can save, it saves on your phone. I just forward that video to him and then he goes to Periscope and like Camtasia's the video so you can see all the hearts in the comments and then plugs my video in and we put it on YouTube. So I don't know what I'm gonna do that right now. We're saving them all just in case. There's something called Catch that saves them. I've never done that, but I think you do like hashtag catch and then they save them, right? Or so there's a couple ways. And again, I don't know what I'm gonna do with those yet. I know I'm going to, but what's cool is like the other day we did one that had really good, like the live one had really good response and engagement, stuff like that. And so it's on Periscope for 24 hours. So John went and was like, hey, that one had way more engagement than anything else we've done so far. So he turned on Facebook ads to that, and all of a sudden, like, because we knew like it got engagement for 24 hours, he was driving tons of ads, so we got more and more engagement, and just it was like this little like a little cherry bomb. He was like boom, and it blew up, and it was awesome. And so it's kind of cool. Like you do it on this platform over here, and you find the ones that are hot. We find what's hot, and go over to Facebook. And this is what we'll talk about after lunch. We go to Facebook and promote it and drive traffic to that. And again, it just gives you the ability to know what to do. Because a lot of times there's great content, and we're like paying to promote it, and you're like, what if no one cares? This gives you the ability to kind of find out ahead of time, and it's fun. Anyway, so if you're not on Periscope yet, you need to download it. At least follow me, because I want to hang out with you guys every day. So we do about once a day, and it's super fun. My first like 10 were like 20 minutes long, and then I did one. I called it a marketing quickie, and it was like 5 minutes, and like it was way better. And so all mine are 5 minutes long. In fact, I call it the marketing quickie show now. So the way I do mine, there's a couple things. So you click start, and as soon as you do, like it starts buzzing everybody. But first, no one's there, so it's always like awkward. You're like, do I talk? Do I not talk? Like, what do I do? No one's here. And then, as soon as people start showing up, I'm like, hey, Joe, hey, Susie, hey, Mike. And you start seeing people, so I start communicating with them while they're coming in. And then what I've done the last like 10 shows or so is I want to have at least 100 people on each one. And so I'm like, hey, I'm going to share my thing with you guys, but we need to have at least 100 people or we're not going to get started. And then what they can do is I tell people, like, hey, if you push the little thing over, it says share on Facebook or share on Twitter. They can click a button, it shares with all their fans and all their followers. And so the first like minute, I'm getting everybody who's on there to share it with their people, which is like pushing this out, right? I got people coming all the time like, hey, Julie told me to show up. Like, what is this about? And I'm like, we're talking about funnels. They're like, what's a funnel? I'm like, crap, cold market's coming out. I need to like change my language patterns, right? But also all these people sharing because they wanted me to teach the cool thing. Within a minute, we got 100 people on. And like so last night, within like a minute and a half, we had over 200. It was just like, it was going crazy. And all these people are promoting. I'm telling them to promote, and they're all doing it. And then you get ranked by hearts. And so like for me, I just like tell people to give me hearts. If you had fun, like click on it. If you had really fun, like double click. And I get everyone, because Periscope ranks you based on how many hearts you've gotten. So like last night's episode, we got almost 12,000 hearts last night. Because I got everyone like, I might do double tap, triple tap, and I'm like slam your fingers on like crazy. So everyone's like going crazy. And it's just like, it's awesome. And everyone loves it. And I can see afterwards, it shows you how many people send the most hearts. I'm like, man, so-and-so gave me like 4,000 hearts by herself. That's awesome. So it's a fun platform. Again, I'm new to it still, but it's the first thing that gets me excited. Like I can't wait till the day where I can just click a button and 10,000 people are on. Like, can you imagine the power in that? Like it changes, like even when 1,000 of you, 1,000 true fans, like, and they're there, engage every single day with you. How's that change the dynamic to your business? Yeah. The question is, do you give a call to action? So I don't yet. I probably will eventually. It's kind of like you guys seen the movie The Social Network. So you remember the part where they're at the sushi place and they're eating, and Justin Timberlake comes in, and he's supposed to be, who's he playing? Yeah, so he comes in, and they're like trying to argue, like, should we put ads in it? Should we not put ads in it? And he says, look, he's like, you can't put ads in it yet because it's not cool. Like, you got to be cool first, and then you can put ads in. So that's kind of what my strategy is. Like right now I'm trying to make it really, really cool. And I've done a couple where I'm like, because for me it's like, whatever I'm doing right now, I'm talking about like, hey, I just finished my coaching funnel. How many of you guys want, like this is, I'll show it and thing, like, if you want to go check it out, go there. So I'll do like it in a cool way like that. I'm not like doing ads. One of them, I did like my morning routine, and I just wrote like a website URL of one of my favorite supplements on a card. I'm like, if you want the supplement, here it is, like show them the card. So just like dorky things like that. And I'm sure eventually I'll have a consistent call to action, but not until it's cool, not until I've got a lot of people in. So that's kind of my thoughts. I might be wrong, but. All right, so figuring out direct communication, and that is the last step.